Hello everybody, welcome in. Hope you guys are doing well. My draw, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the lurk. How you guys doing? Sir Stroming Fish, welcome. Welcome. We're going to jump on in and we're going to pick up right where we left off. Putting a simple wash of diluted seraphim sepia over all the bone. So what we're doing, and then we get right into highlights. And we're going to knock these out real quick and start on our next mini, which is Barrack Stornbrow. Lord Hobby had a rough couple weeks. I'm sorry to hear that. It's no good. If you want to chat about it, you can. If not, we can just enjoy the the chill time and get some painting in or get some hobbying done. I have been in a mood to work on terrain. But I can't. I have too many other things to paint. Whether it's work stuff or getting ready for a league. Alright, 2 of those robots done. We're gonna have some fun painting Barrack here. Be a good one. I'm hoping we can at least get base colors and washes on them today. Maybe Sunday night or Tuesday we come back and we finish them up. Had a productive week though. We've been painting Votann all week and we've gotten a little bit of work done on some Star Wars Legion minis for myself. It's been nice. It's been nice to be able to do that. I have my infantry, it's my rebel veterans, and they just need their highlights, which the highlights will take a while, and I have 22 of them to paint, so it's a big batch. But you know, we got the base colors on, so we got essentially one big highlight color in the essentially white. It's bright warm gray, and then after that we're doing pretty good. Mother's funeral, and then a pre-planned vacation right after. Still recovering from all the driving. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Alright, finished up with that watch. Let's just jump right in to our colors. What are we gonna do? Let's do some light bronze. That's an easy one we can get done. Cultured American, welcome in. How are you doing? We are still working toward our live tabletop gaming goal here. We can hit this goal. Right, it'd rather be it's these 3 goals, but they all, you know, make up an individual goal here. I am so excited to play some games on stream. Not too shabby, that's good. Okay, a little bit of bronze. Let's do some, let's get some of this leather, this brown going. I am going to, what was the color I was using here? Was definitely dark umber, I think. Let's see if we do another coat of something afterwards. Just put a little drop. Get a little flow improver down also. Got something to dilute our paints with. I thought of a really crazy idea, but I don't know when I would do it. My crazy idea would be a marathon stream. Try to get money raised. But yeah, I'm just not sure what day I could do it. Yeah, 72-hour painting stream. It'd be more like a like Twitch marathons are. You know, you plan out a short amount of time, and then people like chat can keep it running by doing or donating certain things. We just do that until the money is raised, if it, you know, if we can get it raised, or I just shut down stream after half an hour because that can also happen. I can't imagine how destroyed my back and my neck would be with a 72-hour paint stream. Sounds wild. Yeah, for me it's not about my hands, it's just about like my neck. My neck's hurting today. We'll see if I go the full stream time. I'm trying to ice my neck and do some good stretches and everything, but yeah, it's hurting. Alright. Lots of brown to highlight on these two minis. Fine, this is like one of the biggest colors I need to highlight between all these. That's good. Big stuff out of the way. So I gotta ask you guys, for those who have seen, what do you guys think of pre-painted terrain from Games Workshop? What are you thinking? You digging it? You hate it? I'm curious what your guys' opinions are. My opinion is that it's probably something I won't buy. I mean, if if it ends up looking good and it's a good set and a good value, then I'll grab it. But probably not something I'll buy, especially when I have access to Zendraw, who has a 3D printer, and I can buy him filament. He's total G and will print things for me. But I think overall, I think it's a net positive. While I do appreciate the art and the effort that goes into terrain building and painting, when I was in this hobby for a long time, there were hardly any terrain sets, especially by GW. So the real way you made terrain was finding literal garbage and crafting it into cool looking stuff. And I actually have a Games Workshop book that's called How to Make Wargames Terrain, and it's all those topics on how to just take like ordinary junk and turn it into cool looking terrain, and like all the techniques behind it and everything. So I can appreciate and love that kind of skill, and I like making terrain. I getting like little fits of wanting to make and paint terrain and everything, and I enjoy that. But as someone who's a commission painter, I think I see a lot of people that have not as much time in their hobby, and maybe they have more money than time, or money than free time at least, to hobby. And I can see where a mildly more expensive terrain set that's already painted has a lot of appeal. Frankie Fingers, what's going on? How you doing? I think overall what this terrain set will do is on average will make like your average tabletop battle look better. That is what these do. That is that black or brown? I painted brown on that. Okay, that's cool. If Twitch stays connected, hopefully it does. I hope it does. Raises the tide. Yeah. Yep. Merrick, yes. Also think it sets a bad precedent. Pre-painted minis next. Yeah. I think that's a valid concern. And again, from the perspective of someone who paints as a commission painter, I don't know. Pre-painted minis don't scare me as much. And while I think too much money from paint to release pre-painted minis, they're doing it though, man. They're doing it. It's official. They've announced it that they're releasing pre-painted but pre-painted terrain, but not pre-painted minis. Yeah. And I don't know if the technology is there right now for pre-painted minis. It seems like the pre-painted terrain is kind of a newer discovery in this kind of hobby space, so at least that style of like UV printed whatever. By pre-painted terrain? Yeah, pre-painted minis wouldn't interest me, yeah. I have played games with pre-painted minis and like good pre-painted minis. So like X-Wing and Armada were two games that had really good looking pre-painted minis. They were not painted on a sprue. They were hand painted by like Chinese factory workers. And that to me is different, like a whole different beast of what it takes to get minis. But a lot of people use unpainted terrain though, even at tournament. Yeah. To have just like painted terrain at a tournament, you know, your average tournament board is fully painted, is such a great, be like such a great feeling. And you know, most tournament organizer probably still opt for like 3D prints or whatever because it's a lot cheaper. But you know, if an organizer wanted to have painted terrain, you know, it becomes a an equation of how much time does it take me to paint versus how much does this GW set cost. You know, and if maybe it's a similar, comes out to like a similar, or maybe GW is slightly ahead, then maybe it's just better to buy the pre-painted terrain, to buy multiple sets of it, you know. There are really fast ways to paint terrain though that a lot of people probably just don't realize at this point. But um, yeah, I don't think I would go for pre-painted minis. I wouldn't like it. I don't think I would hate it though. But yeah, what happens instantly when you have, probably two things happen when, if and when GW introduces pre-painted minis. First of all, they have an explosion of sales. There's going to be people jumping into the game who have never had an interest because they never wanted to do the hobby side of it. Um, so you're going to have a ton of people getting into it, and they're going to make tons of money. The other thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose a lot of talent. Just long term people who maybe didn't think they would have liked painting minis and tried it and realized that it's great and they love it and they're really good at it or whatever, and they can improve. Like, there's a whole world of like knowledge that just disappears at that point. Detect accurately injection mold into a specific color. Pre-painted minis are on the way. Maybe not from GW. Merrick, are you talking about Archon Studios? Or somebody else doing that? Because I know Archon had their pre-painted terrain that they kickstarted like last year or whatever. It's not quite released yet, but I'm not sure if that's who you're talking about, or if there's another company. I'm curious. I'm curious. What company? Yeah. Okay. Archon. Yeah. It's so. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure of the process. Archon Studios, though, they have some amazing, intelligent people when it comes to injection molding, and man, they are like top of the business basically when it comes to advancing technology and experimenting and like doing cool things with injection molding. I'm very impressed with Archon Studios, but I don't know the process on how they make these pre-painted terrain. I've heard it's like a UV paint that is put on, like not in the molding process, but like it's like painted on the plastic directly and then like cured onto it, and there's like a whole thing. Yeah. They had a painted option for the pirate ship. Oh, cool. I think they hand painted that though, Merrick. I don't think that was painted on the sprue, was it? Wasn't that like a thing? I didn't follow that one super closely. Introducing pre-painting for side games. Yeah, the like more board game stuff, doing pre-paint minis. Yeah, that's a good point, Sir Stroming Fish. I could see that. Yeah. Blood Bowl teams and kill teams and Warhammer Underworlds is probably a really good introduction to pre-painted minis. And then I could see people buying those to put into their main armies and then matching color schemes, right? What I really want to see, we were talking about this last night in the Patreon hangout, of what I really want to see is, as GW every year they come out with, okay, well, first of all, the first bar to cross, I want this pre-painted terrain to be able to match the layouts, the terrain layouts that GW has for 11th edition. Okay, it seems like a low bar to cross, but if they do that, I will be impressed, first of all. And then the second thing I would be really interested in seeing is if they, as they do the new, like, Crusade campaign thing every year, and they kind of update the game and all that, if they do a new terrain set themed after the current mission or setting or whatever. So, you're doing Armageddon now, and then maybe they go back to the Pariah Nexus, and then they do Necron themed terrain, and they have pre-paint Necron terrain. Like, that would be really cool. Jaded Valkyrie, what's going on? The rise of 3D printing, probably trying to stay ahead of that technology. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, pre-painted minis is definitely an interesting concept. But, last week at this time, would any of us have assumed that GW would sell pre-painted terrain? Like, that would not have been in my list of things they would do in the next 10 years. So, number of different iconic factions. Yeah, factions. I can see, I don't know if I see, faction-specific sets would be pretty baller, though. Yeah. Anthony, that'd be pretty great. I don't know if I can see that necessarily, at least at first. I can see themed sets based on the setting. And like one big set a year, maybe you buy 2 boxes and you have a full table of terrain or something that matches the layout. Is everything in the terrain layout for 11th mirrored? Like there's 2 of everything, there's not just like one single piece? I know there's like the 2 right triangle pieces that sometimes they put together for the big building, but yeah, some good modularity, some, it was like horse armor DLC all over again. Could very well be. Nickel and dime, you have to buy 2 or 3 sets to get a full set. Yeah, probably. Which, their tables, the newer tables have quite a bit of terrain, so I would not be surprised if it takes multiple sets. Because, what they showed, the terrain set doesn't look like a lot from what they showed, but then there was the dude that leaked the pictures that had an absolute pile of sprues. So, is he just pulling out stuff out of a case, or is that like more of a set? I don't know. Next color for jump back infantry. Oh, good deal. Oh, Eldar, yeah, Kimura set. That'd be so good. Yeah, I agree. There's Anthony, if you look up a creator on My Mini Factory called Sacris Mundus, basically just spelled how it sounds, Sacris Mundus. He does STLs for, he has Eldar and Dark Eldar terrain, as well as like fantasy elves and dark elves. Let me see, where is, if I can link something here. Ton of stuff, but I have a bunch of his terrain printed. It's fantastic. It's almost all supportless. Yeah, it's great stuff. Corrupted Ancient World. That's like a Tyranid Eldar world. That's crazy. He's got a bunch of like Tyranid infested worlds, orc stuff, guard stuff. Yeah. He's got a straight up arena for Dark Eldar that he sells, which is great. Other Dark Eldar stuff. I know there's a bunch of these. He's got one called the Abandoned World Ship. Yeah, there's, hold on, I'll show you. Here's some of his Dark Eldar terrain. Let me link it. That one right there. And then, yeah, right around that, he has a bunch of Eldar terrain too. So he's got a lot of good stuff, and a lot of it like doesn't require supports. That his terrain is also massive. These pieces don't look that big, but they are giant pieces of terrain. And you can kind of get a glimpse of it when you look at the bases he has to scale. You can see the sizes of this terrain. Crazy stuff. I am sorry about your Twitch, Frankie. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, they're STLs. Yeah, I'm sure you can find people that print them and sell them. But they're STLs for like FDM printers. I have a lot of his... he has 2 sets for a Prospero board. It's called a Crotone. There's like Planet of Sorcerers and Crotone and Flames. I have both of those, and Zen has printed a lot of terrain for me for those 2 sets. And his April release, I actually jumped into his Patreon because his April release is actually a 3rd set for Prospero that looks so good. So I'm really excited about that. I like the idea of pre-painted minis. It would push me to field armies exclusively third party. Yeah, I would also imagine, Jaded, if they started selling pre-painted minis, it wouldn't be exclusively pre-painted minis. You know, they would be like an option. But I think someone said earlier that it would probably, if they started doing it, it'd be for like those like board game equivalent games or like smaller games. So, you know, they put a board game out in Target and they might have some Space Marines in there that are pre-painted, or maybe like Underworld would start selling pre-painted teams or something to make it more accessible. Yeah. Normalized? No, I refuse. I refuse that. You know, even when I played games with pre-painted minis, though, there were always people out there who were painting their own minis. When I played Star Wars Armada, I painted my own squadrons, which were unpainted, but they were colored plastic. I didn't paint my ships. There was one ship I think I added. I changed some colors up on it just to, because I would field multiples of them, and I wanted one that looked a little different. But yeah, there were always people that were painting ships and 3D printing ships and everything. So they better, yeah, definitely. I'm sure they have an entire paint business. You know, Games Workshop is a miniature selling company. Like, they have a very specific appeal, and the fact that they like their stance on AI, which is they're very negative on AI at this point, is encouraging. If you don't want pre-painted minis, I guess it feels like they're still very old school. They still think the hobby is the important part. A terrain piece for their theme or color scheme. Several Tyranid players at the shop and a couple of terrain sets. That's really cool. That's a nice idea. They did that a couple years ago at one of my LGSs. They did like a day or two where there was probably 20 or 30 people that came out and were just painting terrain through the day. We're just doing a slightly lighter brown on some of these more raised areas here. Get a little more depth on this particular commander guy, engineer dude. So since his coat is like his defining feature. It's my original reason not to play Space Wolves. Ha! That's funny. Space Wolves back in the day were like powder blue and like an awful like urine yellow color. And yeah, they definitely went more gray, and then they kind of came back to the blue, didn't they? Yeah, which, you know, the fact they have a paint line doesn't mean they wouldn't abandon their paint line if they thought they could make more money without it. But paint is like a huge market, right? And I can't see them just relegating that to their competitors. Like, that doesn't feel right. It feels like they would almost take a loss just so the other companies couldn't get that part of the market, rather than dumping it to save money. outright. I don't know. I'm not a businessman, so. All right. Nice little jacket here. Let's put some orange down. We'll get this orange real quick on this guy. The Brocure Iron Master. That's what he is. I'm just calling him the doodad guy or whatever. Robot friend. That started with GW paints aren't going to give up what they used. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. There is I would say a majority of people who get into this hobby start with Warhammer. And when they go to buy their Warhammer, they buy Citadel colors or Games Workshop or Warhammer colors, whatever they call them now. And they literally, like, they get comfortable with that and they never branch out. That's probably the majority of the people in this hobby. Your daughter barged into your room this morning like someone died and told me that Custodians are going to have their Forge World line in Codex this edition. Did they say that? I glanced at the article and I was actually looking for them to say something about that. Oh, the Dreadnought. Okay, yeah, because the Dreadnoughts are 30k models technically, right? Or I guess Forge World models. So that's fair. That's fair. You know, and I wonder. So I wonder if going into 11th they keep that stuff, but then when their Codex comes out, they remove it, because that is something that happens almost every edition. Always a chance, right? And when that targets Telemon. And Telemon are still resin. So that's why it would... It's maybe before the break and all my paint dried up. Oh no, Jaded, yeah. Well, hopefully you got some better paints. That still stinks. Just a couple things and then never got a wash on them. Do this here. Got that brown done already. That's good. Things be moving quick. Not you, but you. Yeah, they're going to kill the remaining Forge World units. I don't know about, yeah, just for 40k Custodians. And based on previous policy, it would seem that they're eventually going to separate the two lines, but who knows? They could definitely change that. Okay, let's get our black. So we're gonna do dark neutral gray. Joy painting, yeah. Yeah, exactly. GW's not going away, Merrick. But yeah, we'd find minis to paint, we'd find games to play. Someone would step in and take their place, right? Like, there's always going to be something out there for us hobby people to paint. Break lasted 12 years, yeah. Yeah, that is a reasonably sized break. Yeah, I think the 11th edition Custodes Codex is going to be the telling part of this, right? If they start removing stuff, like if they just remove the resin stuff, but not the new plastics, they might stick around. That's a 50-50. If they don't remove anything, then you know, like, you're probably good. If they remove everything that's not specifically coded for 40k, then it's, you know, it's Danger City. In stock for a year. You keep trying to buy it, so you printed him one? Yeah. Yep. It sounds about right. There will be a Telemon in plastic eventually. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. With good old Horus Heresy. Just little highlights around the edges of this gun. That's what we're doing. You've heard they're one of the first codexes. Yeah, so maybe we'll see sooner rather than later. Where'd you hear that? Valra. You know, yeah, okay. He had been talking about them a while, hasn't he? Didn't he say Dark Eldar, one of the first codexes, too? Or am I just making that up? Talon Custodes, okay. End of 26, yeah. So what? Space Marine, Orcs, Tau Custodes. Maybe one or two more in there. Alright. Good stuff on this guy. Let's move on. I'm cruising. What I like. Guys, we are trying to raise money so I can get some equipment to start doing live tabletop gaming streams. I have most of what I need, but we have those goals in the bottom, right? And I figured I would open it up so any way that you'd be, willing or able to give, it could go through our ultimate goal. And the money is for some of the equipment I'll need. So happy to give more detailed answers. But I'm trying to find super budget ways of doing things and ways to make this work. But that's what we're doing. We hit that goal, and then I'm gonna work as fast as I can to get weekly live tabletop gaming streams up and running. It's a decent chunk of change, but I have the infrastructure set up. I got a space to game. I got lots of potential people to come in and be guests, game with me. We'll play lots of different games too, is the goal. Play different things every week. But yeah, that's something we're doing. So a big goal. More here. It's just his revolver. Gave this poor little repair bot a revolver. Not my real dad. What's going on, Greenleaf? Of course, you would come in and say that. Very original. Yep. Yeah, you are. Support on Sunday streams. My Twitch hates mobile network. Yeah. So most of the time, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Anything you're able to do, I understand. Not everybody is able to give and everything, and that's totally fine. I also didn't expect to raise this money in a day or whatever, or a week. I figured it would take some time as well, and that's okay. So I will keep bringing it up, but I won't pressure people. Won't bust out the high pressure sales techniques. Okay, we're gonna do Oh, alright, alright. Bottle is about empty. There we go. We have another bottle, it's alright. Revolvers, Cypher, and a duster and cowboy hat would be a great villain. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Meticulously adding details, use photogrammetry technology to scan the piece and apply texture onto a 3D model or advanced design printing machine that adds thin coat of UV paint. Yeah, it's crazy. It is like, that's crazy technology is what that sounds like. But good deal. Alright, they explain it a little bit, what they're doing. Like I said, Archon Studio is way ahead of the curve with injection molding plastic. One of these days I'll get the Heroes Might and Magic 3 board game. Or just Heroes Might and Magic board game. I'll get that board game. What if the reason GW is doing this, making this painted terrain, is to directly compete and kind of screw over Archon? What if it's like a corporate espionage type move? You know, they're like, we're going to lose money on this, it's an expensive endeavor, but you know, we know Archon invested like a ton of their business into this, and if they don't sell enough, it's gonna hurt them more than it hurts us. And putting Archon out of business could be very good because Archon makes miniatures for a lot of like Warhammer competitors. Bone. We're gonna get a smaller brush, maybe, but also boot. Yeah, I mean, some terrain that works for Warhammer, so they need to keep up. Yeah, I wish Archon would sell terrain that worked for Warhammer. It seems somewhat deliberate that they haven't, but whether it's to squash them, but I'm sure they want a piece of that pot. Yeah, and it could just be, you know, they heard about Archon doing it, and they're like, this is a great money-making opportunity, so we should do it. You know, we do, I think being in this hobby, we get caught up in, like, Games Workshop being the big evil corpo or whatever, but I think in reality, Games Workshop isn't in like the top 100 evil corporations. Like, yeah, they want to make money and they do some anti-consumer things and they charge a bunch of money for their product, but they're not selling like oxygen to people or water or whatever. Like it's a luxury good. That nobody has to buy. It's not like they're Nestle, right? Yeah. Just cruising along. This little hammer piece. Highlighter bone after that. Alright, and we don't want bone, we want dark ivory. That's what we want. Just being careful with these highlights. Okay. Highlighted that first one. This main dude here. Pretty quick and simple on that mini. Get this other one. I did get a little bit of work done on my Rebel Veterans last night during the Patreon hangout. Working on a wash and then got a base color in everybody's face. So that was nice. I think I'm going to continue those this weekend. If I can finish them this weekend, it's definitely going to take some dedicated time. But if I can finish them this weekend, I'll be really happy. It's me one step closer to getting that complete army. A big step closer to getting a complete army for the league. And I have a bunch of just random unpainted Rebel minis and squads laying around. I'll have to dig up and see what I can paint to add. Because my goal is to not buy any miniatures this month. So I'm going to try to make that work. You'll unpaint my minis? Please don't unpaint my minis. I don't want that. What's going on, Marathon? That a Kipash Heresy era Noise Marine sound weapon, preferably without resin or printing. The 40k Noise Marines. Use those. We'll probably have a lot of bits for sale online, I imagine, because you get a lot of bits in those sets. Okay, just relaxing. All right. Not bad. Hope you've had a good week. Yeah, yeah, there's literally a Noise Marine kit, yeah. Yeah, and it's a good kit too. Like I said, I've painted quite a few Noise Marines, and yeah, it's a nice kit. But if you just find the weapons online cheap or something, some of the spare parts for the weapons will even be good. There's a lot of like front end pieces for the different like sonic blasters and stuff. Like a lot. I have a ton of extra pieces for that weapon. I'm doing good, Marathon. How are you doing? Well, I mean, you said okay, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, doing well. My neck is hurting me a bit. I'm trying to take it easy, but staying leaned over a desk isn't exactly good for my neck, so we'll see. We're working on finishing these minis. We might call it after we finish these minis instead of starting on Barrack. Just so I can go ice and stretch and everything, but it's been a good time. Miss the guitar bolter? Yeah, yeah. That was a cool mini. Yeah, and right now we have a bunch of goals listed. The bit goal, the sub goal, donation goal, those things. But what I'm doing is I'm working on just raising some money for the last couple pieces of equipment to be able to live stream tabletop games. So I want to be able to do like battle reports and gaming live streams and stuff with just various tabletop games. And the goal is to do it weekly, to have a game scheduled every week with someone local. And yeah, I want to make that happen. So just trying to raise the money. I need another camera. I'm going to get a cheaper camera. I need a couple other things, mounting equipment, and I need a cheap laptop I can stream from, because I can't. It's my gaming setup is not in my painting and computer room, so I need something that I can use to stream. But different stuff like that. I'm just trying to raise some money for that, and the sooner we get that, the sooner I can get all that together and start streaming. Slanesh, what would you consider too far? I mean, that's definitely like an individual thing. I think breaking too many social norms just to make a mini look edgy is in poor taste. Last one for this color. Yeah, if you guys are willing and able to donate a little bit, even if just gifting a sub or donating some bits, or just the straight donation ability is the most cost effective, what's cheapest for you, the most bang for your buck. So any of that is super helpful, and it goes toward getting those live streams going. Yesterday and confirmed leaks that hadn't even happened. No, the leaks happened. John Lockridge, yeah. Yeah, crazy. Pre-painted terrain is a thing. The one thing they showed off that they didn't have to, though, was the Warbikers, but I assume that that particular video was already made, and they had a plan to release it at a certain point, and they just pushed it out. And the Warbikers should have been announced at a later time, but before that video came out. Hey, that's all right. Yeah, we got that. Let's get... of this mini. Okay, we got our highlights there. Next color. We could do some red, but I think what I want to start with is some skin on the face of our Iron Master. Whatever it is. Whoops, dropping paint pots. There we go. Bit of a base skin tone here. And while we wait for that to dry, we get our red. That's what we do. We put you up, get you out. Hey, Blue, welcome in. Thank you so much for the bits and that lovely sound. Hey, Merrick. Thanks for the bits. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Inching toward that goal. Welcome in. Welcome in, Blue. It's going pretty well. Yeah, yeah. Just finishing up these minis. My neck is kind of hurting me today, so I might be done with stream after I finish these, instead of starting on the next guy. We'll get a bunch of stuff done next week. We'll finish up this commission. We got Barracks, Stormbrow, and a Hecaton Land Fortress to paint. The Hecaton's already started, actually. I'm just kind of doing a bunch of weathering work and stuff on it to care the old temple. Yeah. I woke up and was feeling it. I knew it was gonna be one of those days. So some stretches I do that help, and I've been icing when I can, but yeah, strip it, start over. That's too bad. What did you do that you feel you need to strip it? I remember you working on that mini. You put the wrong color down on the base, didn't you? Was that what it was, as the base color? Yep. Should have been silver, right? Those Votann vehicles they're pretty brutal, though. Yep. You know what, dude? I had to learn the hard way with that too, so I get it. I have painted. This will be Hecaton number 4 or 5 that I've painted. So I feel your pain. I think the first 2 I painted, I did with I base coated the panel color and then painted the silver in them. Alright. Hey, Blue, thanks for gifting the sub, man. Yeah, there you go, Valkyrie. No more ads. And I thought, sounds like fun. I thought, yeah. I have never painted a knight. I've built one. Never painted one, though. Yeah, Jade Valkyrie is a G. Yeah, I agree. No Blood Bowl team's almost done. Was actually fun. That team looks like a lot of fun to paint. I agree with you there. I have never painted a Blood Bowl team, but if I did play Blood Bowl, the gnomes would be my first choice. Hands down, my first choice. The Armigers, I feel, are like the equivalent to painting like a Predator tank or something. You know, it's probably more work than one of those, but it seems like about that level, like your normal kind of mid-level tank. And the knights are bonkers, the amount of work they require. Oh, we have bronze here. Stick with the theme. Way too much paint. We'll come back and some of it up. I could be wrong though. I've never painted an armature. The Questors kit, and you magnetized everything, yeah. For me, give me carte blanche to go, and with it, I love the opportunity, yeah. Yeah, it's like a big blank canvas at that point, right? That's true. A little bit of this excess. Silver looks so good. I don't want to mess with it. Don't want to mess with it anymore. And we are not painting the bases on these minis, so we don't have to worry about that, which is good. One of the shoulders with the castle from Castlevania. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool, Merrick. And they're going around with your Raven Guards, so... Or a Raven Guard force, at least. Yeah, blue. Let's see, did you finish... You're not assembly line painting, though. You're just one at a time working on them, right? Makes for better Twitch viewing. Hey, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And refine the scheme, yeah. And get them done. By the time you're on that 5th one or whatever, you really have it down. Color here. To college, my wife won't let me convert her bedroom yet. You make it a painting, so you should, man. You should. Yeah, going to college, she's probably gonna be back home at some point, right? So. Shade. I just see all the patrons of my channel getting restless when I patch them out. Okay. Alright. No, they're just... Yeah, I'm the Donatello main here. As I sit here and batch paint minis. Blues, like, people hate batch painting minis. My opinion, still paying for it. Alright, Merrick. I think technically speaking, people who earn college degrees earn much more money over the course of their life than people who don't. So, you're not just paying for college, you are investing in her future. In the middle in college, generations promised everything we could ever want. Yeah, exactly. They were. Yep. Yeah, we were a little bamboozled. And yeah, not everybody's made or cut out for going to college. Yeah, I remember my generation, like high school and everything, was like unthinkable that someone wouldn't go to college. Hey, Groovy, what's going on? Yep, 25 years later, still dead. Oh no. Or in college, or frankly, it didn't need to. Oh, okay. Well, electrician, brother's a therapist. I make more and don't have debt. Yeah, I mean, there's like electricians make a ton of money though, Merrick. Like that's not everybody can be an electrician either. So like trades are great, but not all trades are equal either. So there's a lot of variance and the kind of living you make working a trade. Yeah, yeah, I think blue is right. Yeah, therapist is never gonna have to worry about like some of the potential injury side of being an electrician. Electrician or plumber instead of a mechanic. Yeah, mechanics have always been screwed over. Yeah, I remember my dad growing up, like when I was growing up, how he busted his butt. He worked and he got paid. The company he worked for paid him. They paid him by the hour, but like it was by the job. It was basically commission painting, or not painting, paying. He paid him commission is essentially what it was. So like he would do a repair on this particular job, and they would quote the customer, it would take this many hours, and they would pay my dad that many hours to do it. And that the dude was an absolute beast, and he could work the equivalent of like 120 hours in a week, but it also like destroyed him, and he still didn't get paid great hourly, so he had to work a ton to make a decent money, or work fast, and be extremely good at his job to make decent money. It's a flat rate. Is that what that is? Yeah, yeah. So you get paid whether it take they'll pay you for Yeah, for an hour's work, whether it takes you 20 minutes or it takes you an hour and a half, you get paid for the hour to do it. So, all right, little mustache man here. Here's my time. Successfully procrastinate without botching the entire thing. Drink like a fish. Uh, yeah, it's funny. I actually, a friend of mine went to school to be a psychologist. He worked in it's like a mental health institution or whatever. He did like traveling stuff, but anyway, he did that. He made terrible money. He eventually got into he quit and got into the like steelworkers union, and so he's like a welder by trade now, and he makes really good money, but he works very hard. He works crazy hours, and sometimes he's yeah, it's very high risk job. He's working on like high rise buildings and everything, and out in the cold or in the extreme heat. So he makes good money. He makes way better money than he did working as like a mental health professional. Uh, but yeah, he's definitely um, he's he's selling his body, right? Like it's hard on your body. I'm liking these minis, guys. I'm happy where they are. I think what I'll do. Let's around a little bit here. Let's get this guy some. Yeah, electrical stuff is like something I will refuse to work on in my house. Replace an outlet. Yeah, yeah. Right. Do some eyes real quick on this guy. What color eyes? Or have? Let's find a fun color. I could show you, and I'm sure all of chat could do my job. Hey, that's fine. Replace fan. You have to replace fans in your bathroom. That's too bad. That's probably not the worst thing. Nice. Wow, all in the last 2 weeks. just botched that. Why do I keep botching it? Here, paint. I need you. Okay, well, I just ruined the whole eye. Good for me. Feels good. Let's come back at that in a little bit. Try to put a little bit of paint on this side. It looks fine when the mini's upside down, then as soon as I turn it right side up, it looks awful. That's so bad. Oh my gosh. Alright, we're done with the eyes. We're not doing eyes. Defunct double recliner sofa. Move to the, oh, okay, huh. I have replaced toilets. I've done that. Our house has had so many like plumbing issues though. Can't believe I did that. He's squinting, but you can't tell. We'll come back to you another time, eyeballs. Well, I think these guys are functionally done. I'm really happy with the hammer. I gotta get just a little bit on this hammer, actually. It's gotta be dry, right? Hey, Merrick. Thank you so much. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. As we're just going to keep trucking along with that goal. And if I happen to decide to do something crazy, like a stream marathon or something, I'll let you know. What's up, Phaedros? How you doing? Get the extra highlight on here. I'm ready to play some games on stream. I'm ready to like have fun and show off armies and you know like just do all that. It just sounds great. What fiscally irresponsible decision did you make, Phaedros? What did you buy? What was it? Chaos Rhino, a Forge Fiend, and a Chaos Lander. Dang, aren't you painting Legion right now? You know, nothing against collecting multiple things, just curious. So this is all we worked on today. Just this little team right here. There we go, all 5 of them. Look good. The client paints their bases. I don't paint the bases on these guys. So we don't have to worry about that, which is good. That's the thing. And then I think next time we stream, we're going to paint Barrack Stormbrow here. It's going to be nice. He's ready. This guy's ready. We're going to have fun painting an orc head and its spine. Yeah, this guy should be really cool. So, should be a lot of fun. Play everything. Yeah, I get it. Play everything. Almost done with my droids. Need something exciting to help me keep me motivated to paint my droids. That's fair. That is fair. Well, yeah. I think I'm gonna call stream a little early today. I have some things to get done, and I'm going to ice my neck, and hopefully be able to chill for a little bit before the family gets home. But my son has soccer practice tonight. I'm kind of looking forward to it because it's going to be a gorgeous day today, and I'm going to sit outside and chill. So it's going to be a nice not appointment, soccer practice. That's the thing. Yeah, thanks, Raja. Thanks. It happens every once in a while, but I'm feeling fantastic otherwise. But I woke up, I'm like, yeah, my neck's feeling a little off, and I still went to the gym. I didn't do anything with my neck at the gym, but it's just, yeah. I'm going to ice it. I'm going to put a hot pad on it and stuff, do all that. Do some neck stretching yoga. It's good stuff, guys. All right. You guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. We'll be chatting. I should be streaming Sunday night. Yeah, that'll be a thing. Sunday night stream will happen. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll be painting more minis. And, yeah, if you guys have ideas about live game stuff, send me a message. Send me a message like, hey, I think this will be fun for chat to do this, or this will be a fun idea, or this is a cool idea. Let me know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. And yeah, I'm definitely open to ideas and definitely want to do some fun things. So I will see you guys. Jada Valkyrie, Raja, Phaedros, good to see you. Anthony, Merrick, Crucial Blue, thank you guys so much for hanging out today. And I will see you guys on Sunday.